I heard stories before that if being a girl crossing the border illegally, they can rape you or they can kill you.
We're going to build a wall.
What if I be a coyote?
So you're saying Mexico? They should be sent back now.
Well, they should be sent back.
I came here for a dream and I had to look for that dream.
One of the top 5 subject matters in this decade is illegal immigration. In this documentary, we will be discussing one woman's travels from a small village in Guatemala all the way through Mexico into the United States. The fear of murder, rape, and possibly losing all of her money in this journey will be discussed with my next guest, Maria Lopez. You are now watching Len Trappe Present. Now tell us the first time that you thought that you were going to come over to the United States.
Okay, we were celebrating New Year's Eve at home, and Mom was cooking, and family was hanging out there, and I was helping Mom to cook.
And how old were you?
I was 23.
Okay.
23. It was December 31st, and my mom received a phone call, and it was my brother. He was wishing us Happy New Year and whatever, and my brother said that he want to talk to me, and I say, okay, I want to say hello to him. He was living here in the United States since 1987, being a long time I haven't seen him.
What year was this in the phone call? When he called?
That was 2000, when he called me, that was 2003.
Okay.
When he called me. I'm sorry, 2002, December 2002. And he called my mom, and he decided to talk to me, and he offered me the opportunity of coming here. And I'm like, I don't know, because I was expecting my job with the government, working in public health. I studied many years there to become someone in public health. Okay. And he said, yes, but the opportunity here, if you want to make it, I help you. And I say, I don't have a visa. I have to go and try to get a visa. But knowing that my other brothers, they went to try to get a visa and they couldn't get the visa because they ask you for much like a $300 to get a visa, and when you get and pay all the money, they don't give you a visa. They just take the money.
So it's not guaranteed.
They don't guarantee you 100% that they give you a visa.
You go,
they ask you for all the paperwork. You go, you get your passport, everything on paper. You come to the interview. You pay the $200-300. Even you're poor, if you have the money, you can afford it. If you don't have the money, I'm sorry for you. You pay the $200-300 for the paperwork, interview, and then say sorry, deny it.
Now let me ask you this real quick, and then we'll get back to your story. How long does it take to get the $300? Like a salary?
Well, if you have a good job, that take you a month.
To get
$300
to
save up. Yeah, because in my country you don't receive money every week or every day or every 2 weeks. You receive money every month. If you have a good job, you receive $300-400 per month.
So the whole salary
month,
goes to just going to get a visa. And it's not guaranteed.
Yes, it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed they give you a visa.
Okay, so you go and you try to get the visa.
No, I didn't try to get the visa. I heard my brother tried to get visa. He didn't get a visa. My other brother tried to get a visa. He didn't get a visa. So I say, okay, what am I gonna waste my money? The money that I don't have if I don't gonna get a visa. So I told this brother who was giving me the offer to come into the United States, and I said, how can I go there? And he's like, what if I pay a coyote to come here? And it's very risky. For you being a girl, it's very risky, but you can take the chance. And
now what exactly, because some people don't understand what a coyote is. So when you say coyote, you pay a coyote. What is that?
A coyote is a person who help you to cross from Central South America or another country to come to United States illegally.
Okay.
That's a coyote. They charge you. Back then they were charging $5,000 or $6,000. Now probably they're charging $10,000.
Okay.
You know, some people sell their houses or a little thing that they have. They sell it to collect their money and pay the coyote to come here. And sometimes the coyote they used to steal the money and they don't cross them.
Okay.
And I made all the paperwork there to come to United States. I went to get the Mexican visa to come to Mexico first and then cross the border
And
illegally.
how did you get to Mexico?
I flew.
Okay.
I went to get the visa in Mexico. They gave me a permit for 7 days, and I had to pretend that I was just going to have fun in Mexico and then going back to my country.
Okay.
But I heard stories before that if being a girl crossing the border illegally, they gonna rape you or they can kill you. So I was kind of dying in the back of my head, but I didn't want to mention all the stuff to my mom because she was broken heart with me crossing the border. She was so afraid. But I tried to be strong and I say, Mom, everything is gonna be okay. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna live the dream and I'm gonna help you guys with money. You know, I'm gonna send you money every time I can. And the first thing I did is I went to my friend and I put one injection in case I get raped in the crossing the border, and I didn't want to have a baby from a coyote or someone that I didn't know. Someone raped me in the crossing the border.
In case someone
In
raped
case
you.
someone raped me.
So it was a birth control shot? that you
Yeah,
got?
a birth control shot I took, so I didn't wanna, get the risk.
Okay.
But I did that behind my mom back because I didn't want her to worry so much about me.
Sure.
But and then the process became I flew to Mexico. Being in Mexico, I was scared because it was a lot of people that I didn't know, and Mexico was a big city, and I saw a lot of weird people. And
Okay, so you flew to Mexico, and where are you? Are you on the street by yourself? Are you with your coyote?
no, I'm
Are
with
you-
my coyote. I'm
Okay.
with my coyote the whole time in Mexico. We went to the church. She was praying for us too.
Okay.
to
And
be
how many
fun.
people were in the whole group? Or
In my group, we were like 10 people.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we went to sleep to these little hotels, probably they have bed bugs, I don't know, but they were weird and ugly hotels, but we stayed there, and I saw many people from other countries with different stories.
Okay.
I saw a girl there, she had scratches all over the place, and I asked her, what happened to you? And she told me that she was running so fast to cross the border and she fell off. And there were so many bushes with thorns, and she got scratches because she heard dogs and the border patrol coming, and she got caught and she was sent to Mexico again. And she was trying to cross the border again because she wanted money for her family.
Okay.
So, and then I tried to become friends with the guys in my group because I want to feel protected. If some coyote or someone want to rape me, they will help me to not get raped.
Sure.
So,
Let me ask you this real quick. So the biggest concern for the females, that obviously is rape or sexual harassment, whatever it may be. What is the fear for a male crossing?
for male, the only fear is the coyote don't cross them, or the coyote steal their money and leave them in the desert or something like that. The only fear they have.
Okay.
Our fear is raping.
Sexual.
Sexual harassment or
Sure.
someone rape us.
Yeah.
That's the fear that we
Okay.
have. And plus the other things the guys fear, that they will take our money and leave us hanging
Sure.
there or dying or.
So not only do you have that fear of getting your money stolen and all these other things, but you have the rape or sexual assault
Yes.
fear.
Yes.
Okay. So you're in Mexico. You're at a hotel, a dirty hotel or motel with a group of people.
Yeah.
And you said there's 10 people there.
In my group, we were like 10 people.
And how many total?
I saw a lot of people. I can't remember a number. I can't tell a number, but I saw a lot of people there. They were
30 or 50.
yeah,
or
and then
something?
there was a moment that we have to hide because we heard the border patrol from Mexico. I don't know how you call them.
Uh-huh.
They came get you if you're not from Mexico. They ask you for papers, and they can deport you from Mexico to your original country.
Okay.
So we were hiding there, and then
So essentially that's, if you're from Mexico, you're next to the United States, but the further you go away from Mexico, you got to kind of go here, one
Yeah.
step, further. From where you came was one step, past
one
Mexico.
step, yeah.
But if you're in South America or if you're
Yeah.
in Panama or something, you got to go up
Yeah.
a few states or a few countries to get to Mexico, and then you start the journey from there.
Yeah.
So essentially, it doesn't. The journey is long, even before you even get to Mexico.
Yeah, there were 3 girls in my group. They didn't want to talk to anyone, but I remember one of them. She was from Honduras, and she had passport from Guatemala. I didn't ask many questions because she didn't want to talk to me. She was just probably focused on crossing and not making friends with anyone. And my intentions was just making friends to be protected.
Sure.
Because I was by myself and I was very young. I was 23 years old. And but they told me that they had to get a passport from Guatemala, because if they get deported from Mexico, they're just gonna go to Guatemala. They don't go to Honduras, which is more expensive.
Okay.
And when they went from Honduras to Mexico to meet our coyote, they had to go in a bus. They didn't take a plane because they didn't have a visa to go to Mexico.
Huh.
Yes.
So you were saying about you're in Mexico, you're at the hotel.
Yes. So I had to stay more than 3 days in the hotel, because they were saying the Mexican Border Patrol, they were looking every place if they could find illegals. They were crossing the border, and that's why our coyotes kept us in the hotel for a couple of days. My struggle in Mexico was about food too, because Mexico, they eat a lot of jalapeno and spicy food. I couldn't handle, so I didn't eat most of the time, which I lose. In that period of time, I lost 15 pounds. And
Wow.
yeah, and then we went to another city. I don't remember much the name of the city. I was going by bus the whole time. So we were moving in a bus, and there was a moment that time we were in a bus for probably 20 hours.
Where, in Mexico?
In Mexico,
Okay.
yes, in Mexico. And the people who were coming from Honduras, El Salvador with different passport, they put these people underneath where you put the suitcases in the buses.
Sure,
And
sure.
I remember they handed a bag with fruit for them to eat. And I was so sad in my heart thinking about these people. They couldn't have the same privilege that I had, because I was traveling with Mexican visa. I couldn't get kicked out of Mexico for a couple of days because I was legal there. But these people where you put the cases in the bus, they weren't legal because they didn't travel with visa.
Yeah, so essentially they illegally crossed the Mexican
Illegally
border.
crossed
So here they are,
Mexico. Yes.
trying to slide through Mexico.
Exactly.
And you're at least
I was safe.
somewhat safe.
Yes, in that
Mexico.
moment I was safe because I was traveling legally.
Okay.
Yes, and then there was a moment we went to this place close to El Paso, Texas.
Uh-huh.
I think so. That's the name, and it was a little town, like a
Is
kind of
this
desert.
in
In
Mexico?
Mexico.
It's not Juarez or something?
No, I don't remember Juarez name. I don't
Okay.
remember. It's been a long time ago, 13 years ago, so I can't remember exactly what name was. But I remember it was this little village. It was just one house in the middle of nowhere. We were sleeping there. We were 4 people sleeping in a twin bed, just putting our heads in the bed because the rest of our body were hanging on the bed. We were so tired. I was dehydrated. I was skinny, and I asked for a glass of water because I was so thirsty. And the only thing they had was salty water. I don't know why they didn't have water.
Which doesn't do any good because it makes you
No,
more
I tried to
dehydrated.
drink and I couldn't drink it.
Sure.
And then someone went to a store for an hour or something to get us water because we were dehydrated. And I remember that night we slept with clothes on and shoes on, ready to just cross the border. We were close to our dream, you know. And around 3 in the morning, it was dark, it was cold, it was February. The coyote came. That was different coyote from the one from Guatemala. In Mexico, my coyote left me with other coyotes.
Okay.
Yes. And I remember she just took my passport and she said, you cannot use your passport anymore. And I'm like, why not? That's the only identification I have. She's like, no, you can't. Give it to me.
Yeah.
And give me the money that you owe me here. So I gave her my money, and I ended with that money. And my other coyote, which I didn't know his name, I'd never saw him before, they took us into this truck, put us like 20 people in this truck, in the back of the truck, and he started riding, but he was driving in zigzag because he was drunk and he was under drugs. We were scared that we were gonna have a car accident.
Yeah.
So finally we went where it was a river, and that was around 4 in the morning. It was a river. There were a lot of trees and it was cold. So and he told us, when he let us know, we have to run behind him the whole time. Just follow him. We don't have to scream, we don't have to talk, just run. We have to cross a river. And one of the guys, I remember, he just took his shoes off and rolled his pants. And we were laughing because we saying, what are you doing? You're not gonna have time to put your shoes back. And he's like, don't worry, I wanna be dry. So we start laughing and then say, okay. So, and then the coyote say, okay, run. So we start running in the river, and the river wasn't that high. Probably was like this high. And we start running and running and running. I don't remember how big was the river because I was just scared, and I was just, my goal was to cross the border.
Sure.
And then I remember falling in sand. It was like a little hill with sand. I fall, I trip, I get some sand in my mouth, and some of the guys just pull my hand, and I continue running, and I was so wet. And then we hide behind bushes, dry bushes, because I told you there was no leaves. And then we started hiding there, and I was wet, and I started shaking because I was cold. It was freezing. And one of the guys hugged me just to give me some heat, and I was shaking, and we saw the border patrol, a truck with border patrol people, and they were just kind of like looking people, and we were kind of, scared.
Yeah.
And then a car came, took us, and brought us to a trailer. I don't remember the name of the place. And they gave us food, they gave us warm food, they gave us clothes, and stuff like that. And I was feeling a little safe and warm.
And
Took
they
a
told
shower.
you, hey, you're here.
Yeah, they tell us, you are in the United States. And my mind say, when you cross United States, you already see the buildings and the cars and dollars everywhere and tall people with blue eyes and blonde hair. That was my head. I didn't see anything of that when I crossed. I just saw bushes and sand, and I'm like, where am I in that truck in the middle of the desert?
Yeah.
And then I expected people started speaking English to me, but they were speaking Spanish. And I'm like, what is this? I don't think, I think I'm still in Mexico.
Yeah.
That was my mind. But then they
So it
sent.
takes a little bit longer to see your actual dream than
than
to just step
Yeah,
in.
I thought I just crossed the border and my dream is gonna start from that moment.
10 guys with blonde hair and blue eyes
Yes.
and no shirts on come up
Yeah.
and say,
Yeah.
hey, I've been waiting for you.
Exactly, in English all the time, but no, I didn't see that. But I remember they sent me to a dollar store to get some clothes. And that's what I knew I was in the United States, because I was paying with dollars.
Okay.
And people in the store were speaking English. And finally, 3 days later, I got it. I made it to New York City, where my brother and his family were waiting for me.
Okay.
They greeted me, they hugged me, and I was crying, and I was happy because I was safe.
Yeah.
I felt safe in that moment.
Okay.
And then they took me to Chinatown to eat some Chinese food. and I was impressed.
Once again, some of the best food that you can get in America.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I thought it was the best because they gave you a lot of food, and I was eating whatever they gave me because I was hungry.
Probably needed sodium, so that was
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
not such a bad thing at the time.
Yeah, probably. And they took me to a store to buy pajamas and clothes because I didn't have any clothes with
Okay.
me. I had just the same pair of shoes that I brought from Guatemala, the wet ones. Is the only thing I had. They
Okay.
bought me shoes and clothes and stuff like that, and they took me home and stayed there for days, and you know.
Okay. So let's talk about, you made it to New York. Stage one is complete. You're there. What's going through your head, and what happens next to where this is a new beginning?
Well, when I got there, I was so happy, as I told you, because I felt safe that I was with family. I all the things that my brother told me gonna be come true because all the offers he made me, and that was part of the things that I came here because he offered me and he painted me my world like a pink with flowers and butterflies. That's the way he painted for me, and I said that's a happy place. I wanna go there.
I always say hula hoops and lollipops.
Yes.
Same
Yeah,
thing,
it's like,
same.
yeah, it's something that you really like. For me, because I love the pink color, I say pink color and butterflies and rainbows.
Okay.
Yes. And he painted me that word, and I wanted to have that word. So when I got into New York and started, you know, and he received me, I was so happy. And plus, I haven't spent time with him because when he left Guatemala, I was 7 years old, so I couldn't enjoy my older brother. He's my older, the first kid that my mom had. He picked me up in New York. We went to his house, and 3 days later, a week later, he took us to Florida.
Okay.
That was like a present, like a welcome present for me, and I was so happy. I'm like, oh my gosh, my brother is a beautiful person. He's giving me all these presents, you know, and I was so excited. He took me to Echo Center.
Yeah.
And I enjoy see all the stuff, but I couldn't enjoy 100% because I didn't speak English. So whatever they talk and they
So Disney World.
Disney World, yeah, when they're giving you a tour, whatever they're talking, you know what they're saying. I just enjoying with my eyes
Sure.
what I see, but I couldn't enjoy with my ears because I couldn't understand anything. But I was happy anyway. And we stayed there for a couple of days, staying in a hotel and the pool, you know, and it was beautiful seeing everything like I saw on TV, and I say, wow, this is America. This is what always people talk about. And I love it. I love here. And I'm so blessed, you know. Thank you, God, for giving me this chance. And then we came back to New York. It was snowing, a lot of snow. And I was so thrilled when I saw snow because I never saw that in my life.
I thought you were going to say, we came to New York and it was snowing. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. But you loved it because
I
you
loved
haven't
it
seen
because I never seen snow. I saw in the movies or in cartoons in Guatemala the snow, and I thought it was pieces of clouds coming, you know.
Yeah.
And when I touched it, it was beautiful, and I wanna eat it and I wanna swim, but I couldn't be there more than 1 minute because I was freezing. And yeah, it was terrible, and I'm like, I can't because I wanna go for a walk, enjoying the white land, you know, all the white path. And then I couldn't walk because it was freezing, so I got back home.
Yeah.
And then when he tried to send me in this job at his office, and he saw that I didn't speak English, and he saw that I didn't know much about being a secretary, I told him, if you teach me, I will learn, and I can do whatever you want me in the office. But he didn't want to teach me anything, and he said that I was a dumb person, and I don't need to go to the office anymore because I'm just making him wasting time. And I said, but you offer me to come in the office and give me a job. He said, no, you don't need to come here. We're gonna see something else. You're gonna get a job tomorrow. So he sent me to work in this factory to start packing candies. You know, and every time I was going to the place to work, I was crying because I felt so sad in my heart knowing that I studied many years in my country to become someone. I had an education there, and just for being in the United States packing candies, it didn't worth it. I said I should have stayed in Guatemala.
Do you remember how much money you were making packing the candies? I mean, you went from $400 a week to, I'm assuming, a little bit less. At least
Yeah,
less
I
than
was
that.
making $300 per week, and plus I had to pay taxes.
Yeah.
So I was making $200 per week.
Okay. A lot of people think that illegal, excuse me, that people that are illegal in this country don't pay taxes.
Yeah, we pay taxes.
Yeah.
We pay taxes.
And did you have what is it called, an ITIN number?
No, I didn't have a number, an ITN number.
But they take the taxes out.
Yeah,
Okay.
they gave me a number. I don't know how they gave me that number in their place, but I had to pay taxes with that number.
Okay.
So I remember they were taking from my check some money,
Okay.
and they gave me like $200. With that money, I was sending half to my mom, $100 to my mom, or whatever I have in my pocket.
Sure.
Yeah, but I had to start paying my brother too because I was living in his house.
Okay.
And then he was taking me to the job, and it's still cold and wasn't that close to home. I remember one morning he drove me to the job, and he got pissed at me, and he said, "This is not my obligation to give rise to illegal people, to wetback people. I don't need to do this." And I say, "But you brought me here. You promised me you're gonna help me out." And he's like, "It's not my job to give right to illegal people. You gotta find a way to go to your job."
Mm.
And I was so broken heart, and I say, "Okay, no problem." But I knew that my life was kind of like tough, and I was suffering inside. I was scared, but I didn't want to go back to my country because I say I can't go back there. I came here for a dream, and I had to look for that dream. I had to fight for that dream. I can't go like a quitter. I can't be like that. And I stayed, and then my mom told me that my older brother was coming to the States. And that made me happy because I say, I'm gonna meet him and I'm gonna stay with him. And then we're gonna work together, or we're gonna help each other, and I have someone to stay with, someone that I know. Because I was looking for a job all over the place while I was with my friend, and I couldn't find anything. I was looking in restaurants and as a maid, whatever I could find, and no one was giving me a job because they didn't have any positions, or they didn't know me. They were scared of me or whatever, I don't know. And plus I didn't speak English, so that was making me giving me more limitations.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I want to get to that point later about, because obviously you speak English now and you speak it well. So I want to get to that point. At some point, how did that happen, and how did that better your life? But continue with what, so your other brother was coming over here, and you were going to meet with him.
Yeah.
Did that happen?
Yeah, actually that happened. I was with this friend, and I was trying not to eat 3 times per day because I didn't wanna, spend much money.
Sure.
Because those $40 they were drinking and drinking and drinking, and probably I was eating once a day or something. And then when my brother came, I called him and I asked him where he was, and he told me he was in New Jersey. So I came to this town in New Jersey, and I met him, and I was so happy that someone that I grew up with is gonna be with me, and everything's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna start being better since that moment. And actually, I found a job. He found me a job in a restaurant, cleaning tables, because I couldn't do much without English. And I was so happy having a job, cleaning tables. So happy, and being with my brother.
I can see your teeth, the smile coming on your face, as if you're reliving that day when you got the phone call from your brother, or when you saw him. I can see the light come on even today, and we're talking about 10 years ago or something like that.
13 years ago.
13 years ago.
Yeah, I was so happy seeing my brother. And
So great. So you're working at the restaurant, and you're living with your brother now? Or?
Yeah, I'm living with my brother now. He's in a place with his friend, and I is living in the couch now, which is fine with me, because I just want to be in a safe place.
Sure.
With someone that I know. And I was being friends with the people in the kitchen, which they were Costa Rican and Mexicans. and we speak the same language. And I was so happy that I could understand someone speaking the same things I was talking. And the people in the restaurant, the owner, he was so nice to me. The people working there, they were very nice. I don't know what they said to me because I didn't understand, but they were patting my back all the time, you know? And I'm like...
At that point, when you figured out, this is what, I have to learn this language, or I cannot progress any more than I am right now. Explain to me, what happened? A light bulb went off, and what happened after that?
Okay, so when that time in the hospital, the embarrassment I had about not knowing the language and wanted to communicate with the doctor and all the stuff, I say I have to learn English if I want to be able to communicate with people in this country, or if I want to progress. Because if I don't learn English, I'm going to be just in a little bubble speaking Spanish the whole time with tons of limitations. And I didn't want to have more limitations than the ones I had already. So I bought a little book. It cost me probably $10. Little books, they say how you can learn English pronouncing in Spanish. And then every day I was reading that book. Every single day, wherever I go, work and whatever. And I put my telephone in English. You know, in the settings, telephone English. The music I was listening was all in English. The TV shows I was watching was English. My word turned into English. I put closed caption on the TV. Every time someone was talking in the TV, I could read. And that way I could learn how to read and how to pronounce words in English. So that's why I started. And every time I was hearing someone saying a word, I keep repeating in my brain what that means. And I keep repeating. So I went to a dictionary, looked for the word, and then looking for the answer. And then that way I could learn a new word every single day.
And when was the point that you thought, I know this language. I can go somewhere, speak to someone, order food, go here, go there. From how long was that?
Probably took me like a year or 2 years to start being confident about speaking English.
I mean, that's a long time.
Yes.
Long time.
Because
for someone who's in a country that has to communicate.
Yes.
So that's a lot of perseverance. You know?
Yes, and there were a time I want to have a conversation with someone, even I couldn't say things very well.
So let's talk about life now. How has life changed since, the first 6 months that you were here until now? You seem pretty happy. We're talking. What's going on in your life now? And it's been 13 years since you've been here.
Yeah. Well, what it makes me happy is knowing in my head the only limitations people have is the limitations they put in themselves. And I took that veil out of my eyes long time ago. Human doesn't have limitations. So if I wanna, for example, if tomorrow in this country they start changing, let's say you guys start speaking French, and I don't speak French, because if I don't speak French, my limitation is gonna be like this, like this, like this, until a point that I can't move anymore. So I have to learn French now. And that means I'm not putting limitations into my life. So, for example...
No, I get that. I mean, it's funny that you say that, because I can tell you, as Americans, a lot of us put those limitations on ourselves because of what we learn as kids. I've met a lot of people from different countries that immigrate here, whether they immigrate illegally or legally or whatever it may be. And the one thing that I've seen from most of these people is that their eyes are wide open. They see the whole country, whatever they want to do, it's here. Mm-hmm. But sometimes as Americans, we grow up thinking, well, my dad was a candlestick maker, so I have to be a candlestick maker. Or, I'm from a certain part of the country, so I can't move to another part of the country and do what they do. Or I want to be a musician, but it's too hard. I'm not going to make any money in the beginning, so I don't want to do it. So we tend to put those limitations on ourselves also. Whereas what you're saying is, hey, you have to be like water. You have to be able to flow and go with the flow, because things change.
Yeah.
No matter where we are.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Here we are in 2016. And, well, how do you see life right now? You could have married somebody to get the paperwork. to get legal status here, to get a green card, whatever it may be. You speak English. You seem like you're a joy to be around. What kept you from doing that?
For example, if I came here with a visa, the story was different. In 6 months after getting married, I would have papers. Me jumping the border like you guys say, it's not like there's a war and we jump like that. Me coming illegally is difficult because it was before then this president gave us the chance, give us a pardon or waiver or something. Obama. Okay. Yes, but before than that, it wasn't any chance for me to get any paperwork.
Okay.
Yes. They had to send me to my country for 10 years without being with my family, and then after that, they forgive me about being here legally and I can reunite with my family after 10 years and wouldn't worth it that.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't like to be living apart of my kids if I had for 10 years.
So that's interesting because I didn't know that. And I'm sure a lot of the viewers didn't know that. So if you come here legally with a visa, you come here and you overstay, I'm assuming a visa is 3 months or 6 months or a year, I'm not really sure, but if you overstay that visa, and you essentially get married, then within 6 months you can have a green card and access to citizenship. But if you cross the border illegally, it's a completely different story.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting. I didn't even know that. Okay, so continue.
So yes, that's why even I wanted to marry this person. That time we couldn't,
So you were in love with this person. You weren't doing it for any.
I wasn't doing it for any papers or something. It's we took different ways because we weren't meant to be together. But yes, it wouldn't. Yeah, he wanted me to be marry him and be legal and travel the world, but I couldn't offer that to him. Even I wanted.
Yeah.
Couldn't. So yeah, now it's a different chance because after the President Obama is trying to push this immigration reform, for us. He want to help people like me being here legally and become someone in life. Honestly, I love this country very much. This country to me means opportunity. Since I've been here for 13 years, I see in this country like the big opportunity of everyone's life. Because if you work hard, you make money. If you save your money, you can be rich. It's simple as that. You just have to work and be focused on your dreams and your goal. Never quit. Never quit. Because if I quit 13 years ago, I was back in my country making probably $300 per month. I don't know what happened, I don't know if I could survive with that money there. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't.
And that's good money back then.
It's good money back then. But the thing
good money. There's some people that $300 is good money from your making a month in your country, whereas some people are making $50 a month.
Yeah, right? Exactly. But if you have a high education there, you can make that money.
So let's talk about the 2 points of views, or maybe it's gray. We have on immigration. From what I've talked to people about it, we have some positives and some negatives about making the people that are here legal, and about keeping the people out, and sending people back and this sort of thing. One of the things that I've seen is people feel we have this pot of jobs, and if there's less people than there are jobs, everyone's happy. Everyone gets a job and everyone's happy. If we have a lot of people and little jobs, nobody's happy because everyone's fighting for the same jobs. And I'm not sure where we are right now, but that's one of the major points for the election is that we're losing jobs. We're losing jobs because manufacturing is going over to China or Mexico, as Donald Trump would say. And then the other side is the humanity side, where it's, hey, people like yourself, that you've been here for 13 years. You're a hard worker. You haven't committed any crimes. You're a good person. What can we do about people like yourself, but also about these kids that have been here, since they're 5 years old? What do you say to that? How could we fix that? What are the steps that we could take as a country so we treat everyone fairly? Because there is no one side. You can't throw everyone out. You can't let everybody in. So what is the balance there? What could we do in your mind?
Well, You know, there is many things that you guys could do possible, but it's not gonna help everyone 100% because probably some people's gonna think what it help us is gonna ruin the other people's life, and what is gonna help the other one's gonna ruin someone's life. You can't make everyone's 100% happy. It's impossible, you know. But the way I see that it can help us a little bit is giving us the chance, if we apply for a visa in our country, giving us the chance to have a visa and we can come legally. Because a lot of people say, why don't you guys come with visa? The thing is, they don't give visa to everyone who applies for visa. You know, it's not about the person behave bad in their country and then they don't let him in this country because he behaved bad. No, it's just because they deny the visa. That's it, period. Because I told you, my brother, he has 2 jobs in the hospital there. He was making good money there in Guatemala. And he applied for visa because he want to come here and see the war and just have vacations or whatever. And they denied the visa. Even he was working for the government in Guatemala. And then my other sister, she's a teacher there. She has her bank account and he was going to college too. And she went to apply for visa and they denied the visa to her too. So how are you gonna let people to get here legally if you don't give the visa to them? That's one thing, you know. Just give us the chance, you know. And if we break the rules here, you have the right to punish us, you know. But for example, a person like me, let's say, if I stay in the country without permission, you guys can charge me for that, saying let's charge her $100, $1,000, $5,000, or put something like that for people like us. In that case, you guys gonna get some money from us. We're gonna pay for our mistake coming here illegally. And then if we behave bad, you have the right to kick us out of the country. You can do that, you know. But the only thing we want is opportunity. We want you guys to give us opportunity to make some money and help our families. That's all. That's all. We don't ask for many things. We don't want the government give us money for free. We don't want, how do you call that thing when the government give stamps to people?
Gives food stamps?
Yes. How you call that process?
Welfare?
Okay. We are not asking for welfare. You guys can take the welfare away from the Latinos if you want. You know, because we are hardworking people. We don't need money for free. We don't want money for free. We can work hard for our families. That's the only thing we want.
That's another question that I have for you. Some people in this country might say, well, look, we don't want the money going from this country out of the country. Get the number of dollars that leaves the country every year to go elsewhere. What do you say about that?
I've heard that before, but if someone has an issue with that, probably that person is never been in a situation like the situations that we've been. Maybe because they are in a country where they're families and then they have everything they wanted in life, and they never been in a country where they have limitations and where their families are starving, you know, and their families, they don't have the money to send their kids to school, you know, or their kids, they have to stop going to school when they are 8 because they have to start working to support their families.
Sure.
They haven't been in that situation. That's why they say those things like that.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with that person.
How can someone like yourself help this country? Because we talk about helping people at home and, helping your mom or your family at home. How can you help this country moving forward to where it's a positive thing that we have immigrants coming in? Because right now, a lot of it is that it's either a negative or, we feel sorry for the immigrants and that's why we have to let them in. And so a lot of times people don't understand. It doesn't have to be we feel sorry for somebody or it's a negative. There's, this is a positive and this is why. Could you explain to us what that positive is?
Well, the positive thing is, first of all, if I'm going to school, I'm going to pay for my education. I'm going to work and pay for my education. I'm not going to ask the government to give me money to get my education. Second of all, I'm going to make the money with, working, and I'm going to pay taxes. Like, I always been paying taxes, but now if I'm making more money, I'm going to pay more taxes. And what else I can say? I'm not planning on taking advantage of the country because that's like a stabbing the hand or biting the hand that is feeding you.
Sure.
I'm so grateful with this country because even a lot of people don't like me because I came illegally. But I feel like this country opened its doors for me because give me the chance to make money, to work, to go to a doctor, pay my bill at the doctor office, and and eat and have a roof and pay all my stuff and give me the chance to find a job, and
Sure.
bringing food to home.
Sure.
So I'm so thankful for this opportunity in this country.
Sure. You know what? I was watching something on television. It was actually a documentary or something. And they showed in Burma how there was a sick girl. She had tuberculosis, and she was really in pain. I mean, it was almost like my heart was just split in half watching the show. And I thought to myself, you know what? I want to go over there, and I want to take just one child she couldn't get to a specialist. She was at a doctor's office and they didn't have the money, her parents or something, to take her to a specialist to get rid of that tuberculosis or whatever the problem was. And I thought, for me sitting here, I want to fly over there and at least just take one child and take them from that situation and get them cured or get them, the medicine that they need so that they're not in pain. And I thought, well, when I get there, I'm probably going to want to just help everybody because, there's just so many kids hurting. Do you feel the same way? If you had the opportunity where you could get legal status here, that you would be able to go back to your country and help some sick kids or whatever might be there?
Well, I always thought about that, being here and making good money. I said I'm gonna go back to my country and I wanna try to help the kids with education because in my country that's the problem, education. A lot of the poor areas, they stop going to school when they are 8 or 10 years old and they don't receive education because they are too poor to attend school. In my country, the elementary school are for free, but even the kid can go to school for free. The parents want the kids to go work and make some money to bring food to home. That's why they don't go to school. And that's one of the things that hurt me so much, knowing that my people and knowing that a lot of kids are struggling with that. Because when a kid is growing without education, they're gonna have the same mindset, like no going to school, gonna living poor all the time, and gonna have a lot of disease because they don't know anything about the world. They don't get out of that bubble of ignorance.
And one question I have is, what can you do for this country? We talked about, your home country and different things. What can you do for this country that the people that are already here cannot do? Like, can you do something, for instance, show people how to really learn Spanish so that they can understand? So when they meet somebody, when they see, a Mexican person, they can get to know them personally. What can you do for this country that will expand our horizon of the people that are already here?
Well, one of the things I just can tell you is you cannot push people to learn something that they don't want. It's always in your mind and in your heart. If you want to do something, you do it. It's not that I don't have the ability like other people. No. You have the ability like me, like everyone else. We all have the same kind of brains. The only thing is some people, they push themselves to that goal. If your goal is to learn another language, you go for it. If you don't want to do it, you're going to have tons of excuses. So my thing is, if you don't want to do something, you're just going to say, oh, it's because of the weather, because my mom didn't tell me, or because I don't have the money. That's the thing, In my case, I didn't have excuse to not learn English. My only thing is I have to learn English because with English I can open my horizons and I'm gonna have more opportunities in life. That was my thing, and that could be your thing too.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. It was great meeting you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you very much.
Good luck with everything. Hopefully it's an inspiration. I mean, it's not just about people it is about people crossing borders, but like for myself, there's a lot of borders that I'd like to cross. And I'm not talking about countries and that sort of thing, but borders that we put up in our life that we want to cross over and make a difference. So,
thank you very much.
Thanks for sitting down with me.
Thank you.